We are now going to be looking at patterns, and this is going to have a lot to do with graphing. So before we get into that, before we start graphing a bunch of data, it would be good just to remind ourselves or maybe this is the first time, but remind ourselves or learn just a little bit more about this graph. We've got at the top, we have the y-axis, and so we label that with a y. That is the y-axis. And then the x-axis is horizontal, so we label that with an x. Usually they're numbered. If they're not numbered, we just kind of count up. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you go down, it'll be -1, -2, -3, and so on. Going towards the right is also going to be positive, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And going to the left will be -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. What you need to remember is that heading down or heading left is negative, and heading upwards or heading towards the right is positive. Also, anytime there's a point, that is a set of instructions. So this set of instructions is called an ordered pair. So that's our point, and we have an ordered pair, and our ordered pairs are always the x direction first and then the y direction. So there's a set of instructions, and we're going to do the x instruction and then the y. So the instructions for this would be, assuming that we always say our starting point is in the origin, we are going to be moving, the instruction is 2 spots to the right. So you say 2 spots in the right, that's the x direction, and then 3 up. And again, we don't have this dot here. That's just a starting point. So again, we moved 2 in the x direction, which is why I wrote a 2, and then we moved 3 in the y direction. And that is how this is called an ordered pair. Those are instructions. So our ordered pair, right here, that is written as an x instruction and then a y instruction. Our origin is our starting point. Whenever we're looking at instructions, our origin is right there. So this is a special point. It is called 0, 0, and it is the origin. Lastly, we have, let's zoom this out a bit. We have quadrants. There are 4 quadrants. When we label this one as quadrant 1, and then we work counterclockwise. So this one is 2, this one is 3, and that one is 4. And that covers everything on the list that you need to know. So you need to know the origin, you need to know what a ordered pair is, a set of instructions, all the quadrants, and then the x and y axis. So the first example here, indicate the coordinates of the following points. So it wants to know the instructions. I think I did that in blue, so I'll do that in blue here. For A, B, and C, maybe what would be helpful is to first start and label these. So my y-axis is up there, my x-axis is down here, and I will start labeling 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, and -4. I'll do that 2 over again. And then label 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down here, maybe on the left side of that, -1, -2, -3, -4. Now you could label all the way to 5, but I just didn't. And I don't actually label the 0, but you could if you wanted to, just kind of diagonally do a little 0. And then it's actually a little bit easier for us to see the ordered pair. For A, the instruction would be go 4 to the left and then 5 up. Now you can see the 4 to the left is a -4, and then 5 up is a +5. Now for B, B would be 2 to the left, so I'll put 2 first, and then 0 up. We don't move up at all or down at all, so we just put a 0. And lastly, C, that would be, looks like 1 to the right. Oh, look what I did wrong here. So 1 to the right, but I'm looking here at B. B, I said, was 2 to the left, and I put a positive 2. That would be 2 to the right. So I need to indicate, no, that's a negative 2 because I want to move left. My C, I'm moving right. That is a positive 1. And then I'm moving down 2, so I'll put a negative 2. So those are all of our points. And then it wants us to graph the rest of these points on this graph, and I'll do that in the next video.